The Kalish man, Kaiman J. Shilla, has been an enforcer for the banking clan for some time now. People in the underworld know him as Grievous. Ever since the Jedi aided the Huck in destroying his home village, Grievous has been working tirelessly to gain credits to help rebuild, and has taken great pleasure in breaking the kneecaps of criminals who owed the banking clan. With his great efforts and success rate of missions, he has caught the attention of someone more dangerous than any Jedi Grievous could imagine. He gets a call from Sand Hill proclaiming that someone has requested an audience with Grievous on Monolist. Grievous is slightly irritated, for he had to quickly finish up a job by breaking the neck of a Rhodian pirate captain who took a loan from the banking clan, and thought interest was a made-up term. After Grievous takes a nice blade from the corpse of this pirate captain, he throws his corpse onto the pile of the dead crew and leaves for his ship, and then to Monolist. Grievous has been given a nice little freighter for his travels by the banking clan, a smaller dynamic class freighter that he can call his home. He also has the space to hire crew if needed, but most of the time, Grievous works alone. He calls this freighter Deadman's Vow, or at least that is what the criminal underworld calls it. If Grievous is sent after you, you have made a vow with death itself. Grievous washes up in his refresher and cleans his gear. He heats up a small ration and enjoys it as he looks out the viewport and sees hyperspace whirling by. Of all the weapons and trophies he has taken from the scum he has hunted down, he wants the lightsabers of the Jedi who slaughtered his village, who killed his soon-to-be wife, who has let the Huck take his people as slaves. What kind of republic would allow that? As he fantasizes how he kills each Jedi involved, his terminal beeps, and the Deadman's Vow jumps out of hyperspace and joins the traffic chains into Monolist. As Grievous exits down his ramp, he notices an odd change of pace as there are battle droids. Trade Federation brand? No, Techno-Union brand. He heard stories of the Trade Federation OOM series droids, but these look identical. Out of curiosity, he asks one their model.
B1112.
Grievous nods and continues to walk. B1 model. Made by the Techno-Union, or endorsed at least. He puts that on the back burner as he approaches the banking clan building. As Grievous enters, he sees a couple of angry Mun speaking to another Mun behind a counter. Grievous walks over to one of his handlers.
They're back. The Sun God's still trying to be relevant.
His handler, Mark Tun, shrugs.
Ever since the disappearance of Hugo Damask, they have been infuriating to deal with. Another time, though. Come, I will take you to your contact.
Any information on this contact?
Grievous requests.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Let him speak.
They approach a door and it opens. Mark Tun motions Grievous to go inside, but does not follow him in. The door closes and Grievous sees a figure looking out a window. The figure turns around and Grievous immediately sees a lightsaber on his belt.
I'll kill you! Right where you stand!
Grievous says boldly as he unsheaths the blade from the Rhodian pirate captain he just killed days ago. Relax, the figure commands. I know you have a great hatred for the Jedi and the Republic. I will not lie to you. I was once a master in the Jedi Order, but they have become corrupt and wrong in their ideologies, so I left the Order for the sake of my own people. Grievous squints his eyes and focuses deeply on the man's face. He believes them.
You already know who I am, then. What I do?
Grievous asks. The figure responds. Yes, Grievous. I do. And because of that, I have a proposition for you. I can help you with your issues with the Huck if you agree to help me with my issues with the Republic. Your people's freedom will stem from the Republic's fall, Grievous ponders.
What shall you have me do?
The man replies, there is going to be an alliance formed between systems and corporations that have succeeded from the Republic. Rumors that the Republic will try to conquer them. I want you to lead the efforts of this separatist alliance.
The B1s from the Techno Union,
Grievous interjects. You are observant, the man responds. Grievous continues.
So you plan to use droids as a military force against the Republic? Why not the local militia of these systems in this alliance? Personally taught training is far superior than programmed. It is not like the Republic has a grand army of their own anyways.
The man scowls slightly, and this look of superiority comes upon him. Dooku. My name is Count Dooku of Sereno. He stretches out his right hand. Do we have a deal, Grievous? Grievous looks at his outstretched hand, and as he goes to shake it, he adds,
We kill the Huck first, and then I will help deal with this Republic problem of yours.
Very well, Dooku responds. Grievous and Dooku talk for some time, and then together they form their plan to kill the Huck on Kali. With Grievous leading B1 battle droids and Dooku as support, the Huck are wiped from the planet, and Grievous's village now has a chance to rebuild. During this encounter, Dooku has been analyzing Grievous, his stances and forms of combat, his ideologies and mindsets. Now has come a time where Dooku instructs Grievous to come to Geonosis by way of shuttle dispatched by the Trade Federation. Grievous has enjoyed his time to be able to see his village again, but he made a deal with Dooku, and now is accompanied by a squad of B1 battle droids, and he boards the shuttle. The shuttle takes off, and inside Grievous simply sits and closes his eyes as he remembers his loved ones before the Huck and Jedi siege on his home. He pictures what it will look like to have their lightsabers as his own, as trophies. Then, Grievous feels it. The shuttle. As it jumps into hyperspace, on its way to Geonosis. Some small turbulence, but nothing major. On the ground of Kali is Dooku, as he drops the device from his hands and destroys it with lightning from his fingertips. This device was an explosive meant to be on the shuttle. He mutters under his breath, "Don't make me regret this, Grievous." Grievous arrives to Geonosis unscathed, perfectly fine, and as his shuttle lands, the Geonosian leader is very shocked to see him. He greets him speaking in Geonosian.
Oh, hello, Grievous. We were expecting you to be here with Count Dooku.
Grievous responds when one of the B1s translates.
Apologies, but I do not know what you are talking about. Please, give me a tour of this factory I have been told about and these new B2 models.
The Geonosian scowls.
Of course. Allow me to start off by introducing myself. I am Pago the Lesser, and do not be alarmed, but Sandhill from the banking clan is also here, just a routine stop for insurance reasons.
Grievous responds,
I am sure, with the volume of units you are describing, insurance and investments make a lot of sense.
Pago the Lesser nods and shows Grievous the factory. After the tour, Grievous departs, and Poggle stares angrily at the shuttle as it leaves his view. He speaks, translating. Lord Sidious promised us a general for our droid army, not some Kalish banking clan lackey who insults my designs by telling me that our forces will be weaker from the program training rather than personal training. A Mun and a Neomodian approach in agreement. The Neomodian proclaims,
What was Dooku thinking? He was supposed to deliver Grievous here as a corpse fighting for his life. I will contact Lord Sidious immediately.
Some time passes and Grievous gets called by Dooku to report to Sereno. Lord Sidious is outraged by what he has heard from Newt Gunray a few days ago. The plans they made for Grievous' cybernetics cannot go to waste. They are instrumental for being a Jedi killer. Lord Sidious arrives on Sereno unannounced. He departs his vessel and hears commotion at the dueling yard. He approaches and sees him. The Kalish, known as Grievous. Sidious is ready. He will do what his apprentice apparently could not. He raises his hands and focuses on anger. Anger from his old master, no, teacher, Darth Plagueis. Anger that he has over the Jedi. Anger that he has with Tyrannus. It builds up and the anger turns into an energy forming at his fingertips. Lightning begins to form, but he notices what is happening. This is not a regular sparring match. Grievous with Electrostaff in hand is facing a different type of droid, multiple of them, wielding Electrostaffs, as well as some of Dooku's own acolytes, a female Dathomirian, Asajj Ventress, a male human Artel Dark, a trio of Dashads, Nile, Sai, and Trey Val, three cousins whose bloodline belongs to a helper of the Great Tulak Horde and later Darth Nox, two twin male humans, Karok and Vinnick, a male Zabrak Kern, another male Zabrak Roar, and one of the earliest recruits of Dooku by Sidious's own hand, a female Chiss, Severance Ton. All force sensitive, all lethal in their own rights, and Grievous is taking them all on in this sparring match. Grievous is able to deal with these droids easily. He deflects blows coming in from the human twins while kicking the saber staff out of the hand of Kern. He quickly dives between the twins, for the trio are bulldozing towards him. Trio and the twins collide, and Grievous without a beat jumps Roar and Ventress. Roar with his saber staff and Ventress dual-wielding curved lightsabers. They give Grievous a difficult time, but he does get the best of them. He has control. He is not going for killing blows. He is teaching lessons to these acolytes all at the same time, and this impresses Sidious as he sheaths the surges of lightning back into himself. Dooku approaches next to his master. So, you are not upset with the outcome, Master?
He has a grin on his face as he addresses Sidious.
So be it, but also may it be known that if any of your acolytes become a risk to the rule of two, and you try to betray me, Grievous will deal with them permanently. Train them cautiously, Tyrannus, or he will be your replacement.
Sidious replies, turns, and boards his ship to leave. Count Dooku stands there trembling as his students continue sparring with Grievous. Time passes. Time that Sidious originally thought would be used to tend to Grievous in a bacta tank, but instead it is being used for Dooku to personally train Grievous, and Grievous personally train his Magna Guards. At this point in time, Grievous utilizes an Electro Staff and an Achani Blade Staff. Both have sheaths on his back, and on his belt are holsters for two West R-35 blaster pistols, courtesy of the bounty hunter Jango Fett, whom Grievous has become friends with ever since Dooku hired him. Grievous had thoughts that maybe Jango was hired for more than Dooku let on, but it never became a main focus for Grievous. Jango wasn't entirely open about it either, but one day he showed up with a son. Grievous thought it was the son of Jango and Zam Wesell, maybe, but Jango just smirked and said sure. Grievous would also take time to make a home for himself and would choose the third moon of Vassik.
There he would have a training room to more efficiently teach the IG-100 series Magna Guards, and also a place for his pet male Rogort named Gore. Grievous and Gore have a respectful relationship, and he never let anyone mistreat his pet. After all of this, though, the day would come that would change the galaxy forever. Grievous got a call from Dooku to come to Geonosis and help be a guard, as the leaders of the soon-to-be Separatist Alliance will be there for a meeting. Before Grievous knew it, Zam Wessel was apparently killed. Jango won't talk about it, and apparently there was a Jedi Master here on Geonosis who followed Jango here from Kamino. Grievous obeyed Dooku, staying out of sight and patrolling the entrances to the deeper catacombs of Geonosis. Not too long after, another Jedi and a Republic senator would also be captured from within the droid factory. This gained Grievous's interest as news came out that these intruders will be executed. As much as Grievous would love to kill them himself, he was okay with seeing Jedi and Republic blood being spilt by large and dangerous creatures. He watched through a viewing window of the arena. Apparently the names of these individuals are Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Padme Amidala. He gets frustrated at the sight of that senator picking the locks on her cuffs, and then out of nowhere, there are more Jedi here. Grievous sees all this unfold, Jedi popping out from multiple places, but more gates of the arena open, and there they are, the droid army. B-1s, B-2s, and destroyers, all out here shooting down Jedi. Grievous observes it all, the Jedi, how they move, how they use their force techniques. He sees them cutting down droid after droid, but the numbers game isn't in their favor. He sees Jango kill a dinosaur, and then Jango decides he wants in on this action. So does Grievous, but he has his orders. Then Grievous sees it. A Jedi kills Jango Fett, leaving his son Boba now orphaned. This makes Grievous scream in rage as the Jedi have now taken another one of his friends. He was now approaching a hallway that will lead him to the arena stage when he hears Dooku speak, and then get cut off by what sounds like gunships. He looks through a viewport to see the Jedi get rescued by some sort of army. This makes Grievous more angry, but then he hears individuals who are not welcome. Then he sees them. 2 Jedi. No one can know he exists yet on the Republic side, so Grievous deals with them efficiently, killing them with his Electro Staff and a Chani Blade Staff, and then kneeling down to grab their lightsabers. He grins and says to himself,
"What fine additions to start my collection."
The Clone Wars has begun, and Grievous hasn't missed a beat. The very first mission he was sent on was to intercept a Republic vessel, a Venator carrier named the Guardsman, under the command of Jedi General Kyle Lost and his Padawan, Yori Nit. This was a test of Grievous's abilities, and he was given a simple order by Dooku: leave no risk of the Republic finding out about you. Grievous was warming up as his fleet of 3 munificent frigates soared through hyperspace. He sparred with his Magna Guards. On his person, he still held on his back the Electro Staff and a Chani Blade Staff, and on his waist still the 2 Westar 35s. But in each hand is equipped the 2 lightsabers from the 2 Jedi he killed on Geonosis. As he spars with his guards, flashes of a yellow blade and a blue blade light up the training area. His guards yield, making their internal notes as Grievous gives them criticism on their form. He gets word from the Commander B-1 that they are about to drop out of hyperspace. Grievous is ready. The 3 munificents drop out of hyperspace, and Grievous immediately gives the order to focus all cannons on the communication array of the Republic Venator carrier. He then orders for the first wave of Ultra Droid fighters to launch, and then a squad of Hyena bombers to target the engines. All units obey the commands given by the General, and within moments the focused fire onto the communication array bursts through the vessel's deflector shields, and without delay, the Guardsman is without communications of any sort. Long and short range are down. The Republic forces are also counterattacking, but they are not yet in range to hit the munificent frigates. They send out squads of V-19 Torrents to counter the Vulture droid wave, but only some pilots notice the Hyena bombers. At this point, Grievous orders a second wave of Vulture droids out, with a third to escort his own craft, for he is going to board the vessel. General Grievous and his top 10 Magna Guards approach the Republic carrier as Vulture droids escort and cover them. The transport lands in the hangar bay and Grievous begins his first boarding party. His transport doors open and he walks down its ramp with his guards. Clones readied and the 2 Jedi sabers ignited. Grievous laughs, and then Vulture droids land in the hangar bay, locking into patrol mode and start barraging the areas the clones are in. Blaster fire everywhere as Grievous ignites his 2 lightsabers, blades of yellow and blue, and clashes with the 2 Jedi, a blade of green and one of blue. His Magna Guards act as if they are escorting the general through this duel. The human Jedi Master Kyle Lashed is surprised by this Kaleesh warrior, for he is having trouble sensing his next move. His Padawan, the young Ithorian Yori Nit, saber locks with Grievous, but then has to turn to block a swipe by a Magna Guard. The only sounds Grievous makes is laughter once in a while. He presses with strength and agility, but begins to run out of breath. The clones have taken out 3 Vulture droids by this point, but there are many more here. Grievous and his guards are able to separate the Master from his Padawan. Yori is able to kick a saber from Grievous's hand into the air, while also pushing 2 guards back with a swift but strong motion of his hand. The Ithorian looks up to catch the lightsaber, but Grievous spins, grabbing his Achani blade staff and impales the young Ithorian through his abdomen. Grievous holds it there, focusing his sight onto the Jedi's eyes as his soul leaves his body. His master cries out in agony. The clones, horrified, yell out to their general for a retreat. There will be no retreat. The vessel shakes as the hyperdrive is destroyed along with a few of the engines. Clone pilots become space dust and Grievous throws the corpse of the young Jedi towards his master. He picks up the Padawan's lightsaber, ignites it, and taunts the master how he now has a green one to add to his collection. Grievous sheaths the yellow blade and returns it to his belt as he now wields the blue one and the new green one. Master Kyle Lashed charges towards the Kaleesh monster and they duel for what seems like hours, but in the end, as Grievous's guards finish off the clones, a green lightsaber blade pierces the heart of Master Kyle Lashed, and Grievous adds his lightsaber to his collection. His forces leave the Venator, and the Republic vessel blows up, nothing but a debris field left of it. No signs of Grievous are shown, no communications went out. Grievous reports this to Count Dooku, and afterwards, the general sits in his admiral's seat on the bridge and smiles. Grievous would go on to wreak havoc upon Republic vessels and forces, commanding with expert tactics and a keen Kaleesh strategy. As he would spar more with Count Dooku, he would ask questions about these force abilities the Jedi have. As Grievous would analyze reports of battles, he would begin to scale how dependent different Jedi were on using such abilities, and which one were more dependent on their own combat strength and skills. He has kept his identity hidden for as long as he could. There are whispers in the Republic of a Jedi killer unlike any other, but no trace of who or what it is. Until Hypori. Grievous at this point is truly leading a force so large that it would take multiple Venator carriers to even stand a chance against him. He has tested all of Dooku's acolytes with their skills and abilities, but one thing is for sure. When a Force user lands a hit on Grievous using the Force, it hurts him. He has acquired some scars from this war so far, but the Kaleesh only find this as a rite of passage. On Hypori, Republic forces are all but exterminated. The droids march until Grievous raises a hand. At this point, the Kaleesh Grand General wears the iconic cape, has some armor, and has studied the way the Jedi have been operating in this conflict more than anyone else in the galaxy. His collection has a total of 30 lightsabers and a dozen Padawan braids. His physique is leagues greater than before, more agile but also stronger. He has researched and developed ways to counter Jedi abilities.
He finds that one way of clouding their double vision is by amplifying how brutal their deaths will be in his mind. If they try to focus in, they become afraid. If they resist, they become blind to his next move. He is the hunter. The Jedi are his prey. His armor is still in a cliche fashion, his boots having spiked claws to help him with terrain. They give a sound that echoes in the nightmares of the Jedi. As Master Ki-Adi-Mundi takes a moment to rest with the other Jedi here, he speaks softly to them, reminding them that they are Jedi. 5 of them in total. Grievous hasn't fought more than 2 at a time before, but he can't let any ounce of doubt settle in. The only thing the Grand General worries about are the Jedi's Force abilities. Is it even possible to move faster than a push of the Force? He continues his approach to the debris of the Venator on the surface of Hypori. The Jedi hear the echoes of his feet, but where is he? Ki-Adi-Mundi tells the others to stay calm, but Grievous focuses even harder in his mind on terrible things, and one Jedi gives in. He yells and charges out. Before Ki-Adi-Mundi could help him, the young Jedi is pounced on by Grievous, clawed feet impaling his head and neck. With his feet like a dance of melody, he breaks the Jedi's neck and peers into the wreckage to see the remaining 4 Jedi. They watch as the Separatist monster kneels to grab their fallen brother's lightsaber. They see the other hilts on his waist. Fear hits them, and this fear named Grievous walks in. Slowly, with menace, right into the center of the area. The young Jedi's hilt in his right hand, his cape still slowly flowing in the dark breeze. Ki-Adi-Mundi is to his front. He noticed the female Twi'lek to his left hiding behind a support beam. A female Togruta to his right ducked behind a cargo crate. Then a male Whippet behind him peering behind some wreckage. It's a standoff. What the Jedi see in Grievous's mind is nothing but nightmares. They must look away and pounce as a team. They go, surrounding Grievous from all sides, all running at him at matching speeds just as Grievous knew they would. With one swoop, as they all got close enough, Grievous flips to one of his hands, using both of his feet to kick aside Kakrunk and Shock T, igniting the lightsaber, unveiling the green blade to swipe at Ki-Adi-Mundi. Kakrunk's face now bleeding. He is startled and catches himself. Shock T used the Force technique to help take the blow of his kick, but she still falls prone. Ki-Adi dodges, but he wasn't the target for the blade. Grievous, without flaw, clashes with Aayla Secura, but then grabs her throat with his free hand, lifting her up as she drops her lightsaber. Ki-Adi turns, reaches out with the Force, and pushes Grievous away. He is able to use his clawed boots to help gain friction against the power as he carves through the dirt and then stands straight up again. Aayla Secura is gasping for air but realizes her lightsaber is gone. Grievous ignites her blade and charges after her and Ki-Adi. Ki-Adi shoves Aayla out of the way and he clashes with Grievous. Kakrunk dazed. He stands up again and ignites his blade to assist Ki-Adi. Grievous is okay with this, taking on the tired Saurian and the dazed and wounded Whippet. They are able to hold their own, but Grievous combats them by staying directly between them. This creates a handicap where if they try to use a Force technique against him, he can sidestep and it will affect the other one. Then Shock T gets up and so does Aayla Secura. Shock T joins the fight and Aayla Secura uses the Force to pull one of the hilts off Grievous's belt. Grievous now sees that this will be more difficult. Seamlessly, he is able to unsheath his 2 staffs and put away his lightsabers. He utilizes his variety of kicks and swift but precise strikes to his advantage. At last he gets a blow onto Kakrunk and then kicks him hard, and his body goes airborne for a moment and then rolls to a stop, going limp. 3 left. In shock by this, Aayla Secura and Shock T try to press harder, but to no avail. Grievous swiftly knocks both unconscious, wounding them. Now it is Ki-Adi-Mundi. The Jedi Master pulls the lightsaber of Shock T with the Force igniting it, and now dual-wielding sabers. Grievous doesn't hesitate. He is tired, sore, but not hesitating. They fight for some more time, but Ki-Adi-Mundi holds his own. It is interrupted by an LAAT gunship with ARC troopers. They get Grievous in their sights and fire while getting Ayla Secura and Shock T on board, and Ki-Adi-Mundi assists them. They stop firing and begin to leave. Ki-Adi and some of the ARC troopers look out the side door behind them, and as the smoke of the fire fades, their jaws drop as Grievous stands there, unharmed. He is safe inside a personal shield, just like a destroyer droid. No, must be upgraded. He turns off his shield and gazes as the gunship flies away. Shagai and Kakrunk are dead, and their lightsabers are now fine additions to General Grievous's collection. Grievous takes mental notes from this encounter. He is intrigued by the thought of force dampening technology. He will investigate this further. More time passes by and Count Dooku is impressed with Grievous's progress. Grievous is flattered by Dooku, but Grievous asks Dooku a question. This question would have been written off if Grievous was a cybernetic monster, but he isn't. He asks the Count if he has higher loyalty to the Separatist or to the Sith, and ends his question with,
Darth Tyrannus.
I beg your pardon, General.
Dooku speaks. Grievous continues.
I've always known who you are. I ask this question because with this war, the Separatist Alliance is going to need all the loyalty it can get. So I ask in another fashion. I know the Sith are the natural adversary to the Jedi, but can we trust you?
Dooku ponders to himself. What all does Grievous know? He responds,
If I wanted you dead, then you'd be dead. Do I make myself clear?
Grievous nods.
Of course, Count Dooku. I understand.
Dooku changes the topic and speaks to Grievous about a new warship, the Malevolence. Grievous is intrigued. Another successful display of the power of this fully operational super ship. Grievous has become to admire the Subjugator class warships, maybe even more than the Bulwarks or the Providences. Grievous understands the severity of keeping this super ship a secret away from the Republic. He once was also a secret kept away from them. However, there are rumors of a Separatist weapon that is destroying entire fleets of Republic ships. With that, the Republic sends out a strike force to investigate the matter. Leading this force would be Jedi Master Plo Koon and the 181st Legion. They go to the coordinates of the last known position of the missing Republic fleet. They find a debris field and nothing else. From a probe droid, Grievous shows the Separatist leaders how important it will be to keep the Malevolence moving away from where it strikes, just as he had to before there were witnesses to tell the tale. From the probe droid in the debris field, Grievous is able to see who is leading the investigation by the insignia on the ships. He reads the file on Plo Koon and the 181st and devises a plan. Dooku agrees with Grievous's tactics, but Sidious does not. Sidious wants more demonstrations of the super ship's power as soon as possible. Grievous is frustrated by this and tells the Count of his frustrations. Dooku agrees but tells Grievous to set a trap for Master Plo and his forces.
A trap? And what happens if the weapon malfunctions? Why does the Malevolence not have a support fleet with her? If the Republic launches a strike force of bombers against her, she will be disabled.
Dooku strokes his beard and thinks to himself, of course it would. What was Sidious thinking? The Count responds,
Do it your way, General, just as long as there are promising results.
As you wish, Count Dooku,
Grievous exclaims. Grievous sets the trap with the help from another Separatist naval officer named Trench, Admiral Trench. Trench joins Grievous in wiping out another Republic fleet in the Kessel system. Plo Koon and the 181st catch the scent and go there to investigate. When they arrive, they see the massive vessel, and before any communication can go out, the Malevolence fires on Grievous's command. Republic ships are dead in space as the ion charges subdues their electric systems. Grievous orders the Malevolence to destroy the ships. Plo Koon has the crews escape in the escape pods. Grievous sends out a pod hunter. Some time passes and a single ship named the Twilight enters the system and rescues Plo Koon, just as Grievous and Trench predicted. More time passes. The Republic launches a strike onto the Malevolence with fighters and bombers. This is the fear Grievous had for the Malevolence. She is too vulnerable to fighters and bombers. He executes the order for his own fighters to counterattack, but the Republic strike force gets closer. This force is led by Plo Koon, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano. They get closer and closer until Grievous has his crew fire the weapon. They fire, and the huge ion charge blasts towards the strike force, also taking some of their own droid fighters with it. Most of the force is able to dodge the massive ion charge, and they are still coming closer. The Malevolence is open, vulnerable, and Grievous changes his mentality and smiles. Ahsoka tells her master that something feels wrong. Anakin persists that it's nothing, and says it's just her fear and not to give in to it. Master Plo, on the other hand, senses it too.
It's a trap. They wanted us to come here.
Skywalker! Plo exclaims with fear. He is cut off before he can finish as Trench gives his fleet orders to pounce. Out of hyperspace jumps in 3 munificent frigates and 3 recusant escort ships, as well as Trench's own Providence backed by the Malevolence. The munificents and the recusants block the strike team's path to the super weapon. They open fire on the strike team and launch fighters. They go down quickly with only Plo Koon and Anakin's ships evading the firefight. All Ahsoka can do is trust her master as he flies them out of here, or attempts to. Plo Koon sends an emergency transmission to any Republic vessel within range. A fleet of Republic Venators, 3 of them, jump out of hyperspace, led by Admiral Yularen and Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. They see in horror as they also receive the emergency transmission. They see that the large Separatist ship has an additional fleet with it. They see that only 2 ships are running from the giant wave of Vulture droid fighters. Obi-Wan reaches out to sense that it is his fellow Jedi who are alive. Yularen is in shock to see the insignia of Admiral Trench. Trench orders the support ships to separate, for the Malevolence will fire its weapon again soon. Yularen orders a retreat, but Obi-Wan insists that they try. They argue as Plo Koon, Anakin, and Ahsoka are somehow able to dock in the hangar bay of the lead Venator. They chime in that they need to go now because that super ship is going to fire. The Republic ships begin to turn around. The Malevolence weapon is taking too long to fire, but Grievous isn't concerned. He won this battle. It wasn't against the Republic or the Jedi, but against Sidious. He did more than simply kill more Jedi. He made 2 masters, a Padawan, and their precious chosen one afraid. Grievous orders his ships to fire on the 2 side Venators. They knock out the hyperdrives almost immediately. Just the lead Venator is able to turn around completely, but the Jedi and Yularen argue on what to do about the 2 other ships. The crew of the other ships beg them not to leave them behind. They plead to General Skywalker and the other Jedi to do something. Grievous orders the Malevolence to fire its super weapon. In this moment, Plo Koon says to the other 2 ships that he is sorry and uses the Force on the controls to jump to hyperspace. They jump as they hear the gurgled sounds of the other ships' communications go down. The Jedi feel the panic and fear and eventual death of the crews. They feel the grievousness of it all. Over hollow table, Trench looks to Grievous and Grievous to Trench. They both smile in satisfaction and log what has occurred for the Separatist Senate and Council to analyze. Sidious is outraged and explains to Dooku that they need a leash for Grievous. He needs to have an accident at once. Dooku disagrees with his master and is open about it. He explains that this can help us even more than their original plans. The Jedi cannot combat against the Separatist Alliance. Make the war because of the Jedi, and the Republic will only have 2 options: surrender or die with the Jedi Order. Sidious stands for a moment, and then without any regrets, he shoots Count Dooku with a force of lightning so powerful, almost as powerful as he planned to do to Grievous back on Sereno. He releases Dooku again and says to his apprentice,
"I said to put a leash on him."
Dooku, gasping for his life, understands. Sidious devises a plan for the Malevolence to be destroyed. It is too powerful of a weapon for the Separatists to have, and it almost killed Anakin Skywalker, who Sidious is grooming to be his next apprentice without anyone else knowing the full details. The stage would be set. The Malevolence would be stationed to arrive at the Rashi's system, but the defense fleet has been ordered to Christophsis. Each force given the order, assuming the other has been given the same order. Trench on Christophsis would know the Malevolence is a slower ship than his fleet, so he got into position to blockade the planet and await Grievous's arrival. Grievous wouldn't arrive, though. He enters the Rashi's system and springs a Republic trap. The Malevolence is distracted by a lone Venator, and Grievous sets sights on it. 2 more Venators enter the system on either side of the Malevolence as the strike team heads for its super weapon. Grievous tries to do what he can, but in the end he flees with other units as the super weapon is destroyed, and then the ship itself is torn apart. Grievous escapes in his personal fighter, the Soulless One, as his freighter, Dead Man's Vow, is destroyed along with the Malevolence. Grievous flees for his home in the Vasic system as he ignores a call from Count Dooku. During all of this, Sidious has ordered Dooku to lure a Jedi strike team to Grievous's lair. This team is tracking down Nute Gunray and is composed of Jedi Master Kit Fisto and Jedi Knight Nadar Veb. They arrive and realize that this is the lair of General Grievous. Grievous arrives and calls out for Gore. The Jedi team with a squad of clones ambushes the general. He is majorly caught off guard because no Jedi in their right mind would come here. Grievous does his best to counterattack the ambush by grabbing his electro staff and one of his lightsabers on his waist. He locks blades with Master Fisto and locks his staff with Nadar. The clones move in and Grievous knows that he cannot take more than a few stun shots, if they are using stun. He questions this because Nadar tells him he will pay for all the Jedi he has murdered. Grievous feels like he has been murdered, or his loyalty at least, since the Malevolence has been destroyed by a trap and now there is a strike team in his own home. Quickly, he whistles a high-pitched whistle and a door opens with a large beast, with Gore, his pet. The clones quickly turn to fire on Gore, but Grievous does have some armor on him and his hide is thicker than most creatures. Grievous uses the sudden distraction to try to kill the Jedi, but he is exhausted and isn't quick enough. They deflect his strikes and they return into a lock. Gore charges at the clones, killing 2 of them. Master Fisto, seeing this, him and Nadar both flip, and using the Force they push Grievous into the wall, making the oxygen in Grievous's lungs go away for a moment. They go to strike the creature with their plasma blades when they hear a plea not to. Master Fisto halts, but Nadar does a harmful strike to the beast. Kit Fisto commands Nadar to stand down and his men to do the same. Grievous pleads not to harm Gore. He is all he has left from what the Jedi took from him.
Kill me, not Gore.
Grievous pleads. Nadar says gladly, but Kit Fisto stops him by putting a hand on his shoulder. Revenge is not the Jedi way, Nadar. Neither is vengeance. You will come with us along with your pet. He will be treated for his wounds as long as you surrender, Grievous. A voice comes over the intercom.
You should have listened to the Mon Calamari.
Foolish Jedi,
exclaims Grievous. EVA4D presses buttons in the control room and, like an awakening fire, activates all of the Magna Guards. The guards rush in, and with the distraction, Grievous leaps and mounts Gore and gets him to safety. The Jedi and clones struggle against the guards, but not enough for the Jedi to deal with them in due time. Grievous gets Gore to safety with a caretaker droid and then meets EV. Grievous has EV here to help fix the guards if they become damaged from training. He also helps tend to wounds Grievous may gain over the course of his missions. EV examines Grievous quickly and patches up a wound from being thrusted into the wall. Grievous shoos him off and looks at the cameras. The 2 Jedi are all that is left aside from the transports outside. He orders his guards to deal with the transports. One gets destroyed while Kit Fisto's astromech is able to fly the starfighter to safety. Grievous is able to separate Kit and Nadar. He fights Nadar and is able to kill the Jedi Knight by shooting him in the stomach while Saber is locked. Kit Fisto sees this on the console and begins his escape out of the lair. He arrives at the landing pad where his astromech should be, but waiting for him out of the fog is Grievous. They fight and Kit Fisto uses the Force to pull Nadar's lightsaber from Grievous's waist. Kit Fisto has made a new level of mastery of the basic form of lightsaber combat and is able to fend the general off until his astromech droid arrives. Kit jumps and lands in the cockpit of his starfighter and leaves for Republic space. Grievous curses the Jedi Master but also slumps over in relief that the fight is over. Gore is injured, but he will be alright. Grievous is injured, but he will also be alright. He and EV have much to discuss as well as his Magna Guards. Like, who shut them off? Grievous would find out it was Dooku. Now, the way Grievous approaches this war is different. He will make both the Jedi and Sith pay for crossing him. Events of the Clone Wars will continue very similarly to canon. Grievous is a monster Jedi killer. He gains scars, but he gains more trophies. He has wins and losses, and the Republic wants him dead now instead of captured. The Gungans even capture him so the Republic could get Anakin Skywalker as a prisoner exchange. Grievous would still train with Dooku. Grievous would become disturbed by learning that Sidious has been telling Dooku to hold back when facing against Skywalker. He has realized that him and Skywalker have never had a formal confrontation. Grievous does not trust Sidious, and by the third year of the Clone War, he has found more reasons not to. EV did some digging in Separatist files and found the design for Grievous's cybernetics. When Grievous read these, he was furious.
They were going to make me a blasted droid?
Grievous rages. Him and EV have begun to realize all of the back and forth of the war. Some of it didn't make sense, especially factoring how the Separatists outnumber the Republic, and how they have a massive reserve fleet. Grievous feeds Gore his daily meal and remembers when he asked Dooku where his loyalty lies. Grievous realizes that there is more to all of this than he knows, especially since Dooku tried to have Ventress killed. The rise of the Small and his brother Savage. Many good people have died for the Separatist cause, and Grievous begins to wonder if they were all pawns in a Sith's game. He decides that he will keep his word with Dooku and end the Republic corruption. Grievous knows that the Outer Rim sieges are to open a way to Coruscant. So be it then. He will capture the Chancellor. Grievous gained another scar from the horns of Maul. He tackles hard, but that is over with. Maul will be dealt with another day. Now he must focus on one thing: capture Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. Grievous actually feels nervous but excited for this mission, to capture the leader of the Republic corruption. This brings a smile to his face for multiple reasons. He has upgraded his gear. Now his armor is weaved with cortosis. He has acquired additional accessories like a Mandalorian grapple hook and whip gauntlet, shock gloves, and more. He even assembles a saber staff from 2 broken lightsabers. He also made a new friend, a small lizard, a Salamiri, that can negate force powers. Grievous executes his plan as he approaches the Senate building. His Magna Guards are on standby, distant but ready. Like a perfect melody and harmony, he captures the Supreme Chancellor. He meets Shaak Ti again and some other Jedi, but him and his guards deal with them. No one expected Grievous's little lizard friend. No one could sense him coming. No force powers worked on him. This made the Chancellor very upset. He was scared, as he should be. Grievous arrives to the invisible hand and places the Chancellor into the viewing tower cuffed to the chair. He then leaves to the bridge to give the command to get out of here. Some time passes and a strike team infiltrates the invisible hand. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. Grievous was instructed to let the Jedi come if they board, to focus on getting out of here. He knew Dooku could deal with the Jedi, so he stayed on the bridge, but never stopped watching the camera feed. He noticed how Dooku and the Chancellor were speaking before the Jedi arrived. He thought it to be odd. The time came where the Jedi would make their way to the Chancellor, and Dooku enters. They fight, and Dooku is marvelous at dueling. Grievous watches, but he is still concerned about not going all the way with Skywalker, so he gets up with the datapad and begins his way there while watching on the go. This is too good of an opportunity to be able to kill the Chosen One in front of his master Kenobi, who Grievous has hatred for, and the Supreme Chancellor, who apparently admires Skywalker. He sees Dooku fling Obi-Wan across the room and knocks him out. Grievous grins. As he approaches, though, he sees Dooku and Anakin duel, and Dooku is holding back. Grievous questions this and summons his guard to join him to take on the Jedi, since Dooku keeps deciding to hold back. Only 4 of his Magna Guards are able to catch up to him on the lift to the observation tower. Grievous scowls when he sees Skywalker cut the hands off of Dooku, and now Dooku is on his knees and his head at Skywalker's mercy. He sees the Chancellor mumble something to Anakin, but he has no audio. The look on Dooku's face, and then his head falls to the floor. Grievous rages. The Chancellor tells Anakin good and to get him out of these cuffs on the chair. Anakin goes to use the Force on the cuffs to release them and then runs to Obi-Wan. The Chancellor tells Anakin that it didn't work. Anakin looks over and sees the cuffs didn't unlock. He motions his hand again with the Force and nothing. Anakin does understand, and then they hear a voice.
Unable to perform, young Skywalker?
Grievous enters with his 4 guards.
The cuffs on the chair are proof for abilities the Jedi possess.
Anakin responds.
It's over, Grievous.
The Chancellor interjects.
Now, look here, General. Count Dooku is dead. You would be wise to listen to Anakin Skywalker.
Grievous replies.
Oh yes. I see that Count Dooku is dead. A surprise to be sure, but I have a surprise of my own. I have a new pet, a Salamiri, and over the course of time, she had offspring. My 4 guards have Salamiri with them as well. They are trained to negate your Force abilities.
On command, the Salamiri create a Force-neutralizing bubble that takes up the observation tower. Grievous unsheaths his blade staff and his guards ready their electro staves.
It's far from over, Skywalker.
The Magna Guards leap at Anakin and Grievous behind them. Anakin fends off blows, but then Grievous takes control. The guards just pacing with them. The fight is between Grievous and Anakin. Anakin senses nothing, sees nothing with the Force. Even if he was able to kill one of the Salamiri, there are still 4 more alive. All he has is his combat skills, and maybe Obi-Wan will wake up. The duel lasts some time, and Obi-Wan starts to stir awake. His vision is blurry, he can't feel with the Force, but he sees a dead Count Dooku. But he hears the fight between Anakin and Grievous. Obi-Wan stands and grabs his lightsaber. He runs and cuts a guard in half, also killing one of the Salamiri with it. Grievous is surprised, and he sends 2 guards after Kenobi. All Kenobi thinks to do is play it defensively until he sees an opening. Grievous continues to fight Anakin, lightsaber clashing with the Chani blade. After some time, Anakin actually lands a hit on Grievous's forearm, but instead of his arm coming off, his lightsaber shorts out.
Oh, gotta watch out for cortosis weave.
Grievous kicks Anakin hard in the abdomen, sending him backwards. Anakin thrives in pain. Kenobi is able to find an opening with the guards, and the 3rd one sneaks up and shocks Kenobi with the electro staff. Grievous sees the absolute terror, but also anger, on the face of the Chancellor. Grievous gets a message over his comm that they are close to having a clear path to jump to hyperspace. Grievous responds,
Very good, Captain. Let the Republic know that they have a traitor problem, and that I have dealt with it for them.
He walks over to the Chancellor.
Sidious.
The Chancellor scowls.
Who do you think you are? What do you think you'll gain from this?
Grievous laughs and answers,
I am the general of the largest droid army this galaxy has ever seen, and I gain a future without any Jedi and Sith. No.
A blaster shot into the head of Sidious with smoke coming from the barrel of Grievous's Westar 35. The Chancellor slumps over, dead in the chair.
Wait, the Chancellor was Sidious?
Kenobi asks out of shock. Anakin, thriving in pain, tries to get up.
Pathetic. The lot of you.
Grievous exclaims and then shoots both Anakin and Obi-Wan in the head. Both plop over dead. Grievous holo recorded all of it with his datapad. His ship and the rest of the fleet jump to hyperspace, but not before he sends the holo recording to the Jedi Temple. Not as a threat, but as a promise that they're next, and he's not returning alone.